Hey everybody, welcome to the OK Roundtable. I'm Kim Sex,
I'm Phot.
And I'm Mort.
and I have something to complain about. And I know someone like
This
me,
is
so
Astrid.
positive. A fucking yeah. Who's the cat?
This is
Fuck
Astrid. Say
Astrid.
hi. Say hi.
I forget where you get your names from. Isn't that
Really?
Norse? What's
Generally,
that? What's Astrid from?
it's not. It was what Lauren wanted.
Oh,
I think there was a reason. I don't remember.
oh, got it. From How to Train Your Dragon. Got it. That's all I need to know.
That makes sense.
I still haven't seen the third movie.
I have not either. She is probably not either because she doesn't watch anything I don't make her. So it's generally how it goes.
Okay. That should be a proper noise filter. But yeah, I just know that that's from How to Train Your Dragon, so that's the only thing that I know about the name Astrid.
That's probably
Now,
what it is.
so okay, clearly, seeing me, I am a man who has been to McDonald's before,
The
and
Mhm.
I'm someone who has frequented that establishment and that chain of establishments, and I I'm a man who loves his nugs. As anyone who knows me knows, I'm a man who loves my nugs. I have also worked at that establishment before. I know how most of those POS systems work.
mm,
So yesterday I had to stay late doing something, and so I was like, "Oh, I'll just swing by the McDonald's around the corner, right?" And
okay.
I'll get myself a 20-piece nugget meal, as I tend to do. And I roll up, and the girl with the headset was like, "Oh, that doesn't come in a meal." And I was
What?
like, that was my reaction. I was like, "Excuse me," because I said, "I like a 20-piece meal, please." Oh, that doesn't come in a meal. I'm kind of like, yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does everywhere. And she's like, I'm like, "I'm sorry, excuse me." Oh, that doesn't come in a meal. You're telling me there's no 20-piece meal anymore? And she's like, "It doesn't come in a meal." And I was like,
Do your best.
you know what? Just give me the 20-piece, and I'm gonna take that shit and just go somewhere else and get like a drink, or just drink water, whatever. I'll drink water. Who cares? But like I was just like, and you think that this is like this shouldn't be that high of a gripe, but I was like, you just disrupted my day because now I have to go somewhere else to get something to drink, and because I don't want to get a drink from you. Like you've made me mad. I
Right.
hope
You
I
talked
hope
yourself out of a sale.
yeah, I hope that it's slow and you get
Instead
sent
of
home.
just ringing it up.
I hope it goes slow and you get
20,
sent
20
home.
nug, medium fry, medium drink. Make it happen.
And
Did
that
they
would
change the menu?
I don't think so because I think it was just someone who was completely
New?
new or just ignorant of the fact that
Or
yeah, by
just
the
didn't
way,
care?
or maybe just didn't care. Either way, like as soon as like she handed me like the bag, she didn't even wait for me to like walk away. This is what I saw. Like for me to drive away. This is what I saw. And I was like, "Damn, like you just hop on your phone like right here." Like, "Damn, that's some bold shit right there. Look at you go." And that's what made me kind of interested. Whenever that news, did you hear what Burger King's going to be doing?
The angry meals or whatever. The
Well,
yeah,
it's for Mental Health Awareness Month, which apparently
right.
that's what the month of May is. There's
Sure.
alternative unhappy meals, and one's like a pissed meal, one's like a meh meal. Like I don't know what comes in them, and frankly, I don't care. I think that's just an interesting direction to take. I feel like that's not a thing that most people would have thought of. I didn't. I mean, everyone made that joke, like kind of like, is there an unhappy meal? But now BK is kind of like after the Impossible Whopper, them doing the net neutrality thing, like back a while back, they're doing this. I'm just kind of like, who's in charge of these people's marketing? Like, what is it that they're doing? Would you guys buy an unhappy
Don't
meal?
know. I don't
I
eat Burger King.
I
Neither
don't
do
even
I.
know what an unhappy meal is.
Like,
Well, I don't know what it is
reading up
either.
on it, but
i- interesting story. So when we adopted Astrid, we went and met her former owner at a Burger King here in town, and we decided
Okay.
to get dinner there because we're like, okay, we're here, might as well. Like that's where they wanted to meet to do the handoff, whatever. And
Astro was a drug deal.
Astrid was a drug deal. We did it at Burger King. Uh, but we got Burger King, and I ate it. I took one bite of a Whopper and hated my entire existence. I rethought my entire life. Like you know that story Robert Downey Jr. tells about how it like reshaped his entire like paradigm.
Uh huh.
It was so bad. It was so bad. And I have not eaten there since. And I haven't eaten McDonald's since I worked there as a teenager at like 18. Cat, what are you doing? Hey.
I just find it an interesting move, marketing wise, to kind of make a counter argument to McDonald's. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what happened with the Big Mac in Scotland, where like they took the cheap shot, like the quick cheap shot, real easily. Did you guys hear
Right.
about that stuff? I don't know if Phot had.
I'm vaguely aware of it.
yeah, I would say
So
vaguely.
so there's a restaurant in Scotland, also called like Mac or whatever, and that's been around longer than McDonald's has been a company.
Right.
And so they or something like that, and then they also had something called the Big Mac, and so they lost the name right in Scotland to have the name Big Mac legally protected. So Burger King just changed their entire menu to fuck with them to be like not the Whopper, also not the Whopper, a double not the Whopper. Like or
Okay,
Big
I
Mac,
get it.
not the Big Mac, not the Big Mac. Sorry, not the Big Mac, double, not the Big Mac, and like it was like the weirdest thing ever. But it was only able to be done because of the copyright thing or that weird. I don't know. It's strange. The Burger King is like taking shots left and right to be like instead of like just being the media thing like the way Wendy's is.
Mm-hmm.
They're more in real life just fucking with people. Because Wendy's doesn't do that shit at their stores. They don't give like it's only online are they badass. They're keyboard warriors for sure.
You're not wrong.
And I don't care who fucking hears that. Wendy,
They have really good social media marketing.
they really do. God damn it.
What is up with your cat?
I don't fucking know, dude. She's weird. Fat fuck.
It's adorable. So I found out the total for my idiot tax from last week, and it's gonna come out to $835.36 to replace that dude's bumper. And it's like, oops, my bad. I didn't mean to
Yeah,
do that.
a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting with bills, to say the least. Like I wish that I had there's part of me, I'm not gonna lie, there was part of me who, considering where I was and how we were like orientated, how would you say that? Orientated? Like
Oriented is correct.
is oriented correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's my understanding.
The way we was, and it be that way sometimes. The way that the traffic is moving, part of me was like, I think I could, because he seems to have parked. Like, part of me is like, I could probably outrun him. I could probably gun it right the fuck now. Like,
Famous last words.
I think I can make it. It was close. It was close. I think we could have done it. Just to avoid, but at the same time, I went to go talk with the boss of the guy that I hit. Right, that's who I'm basically giving that money to. And he kind of sort of to the side offered me a job, which was interesting in its own right. He was just kind of like, everybody need a job, let me know. And I was like, is this for real? Like, are you offering me a job? Like, seems like it's gonna be one of those kinds of thing. So something that we talked about yesterday, it happened to you, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
You were hit on.
A little
Ooh.
bit, kind of. Yeah.
how'd that go?
I've got the top off the Jeep. It's a conversation starter. Um, Girl just walks up and is like, "You want to sell me that Jeep?" I'm like, "No."
Just it was just like that. Just want to sell me that
Yeah.
Jeep.
Straight up. Like I was getting in, she pokes her head in the other window. "You want to sell me that Jeep?" No. But people ask me that all the time. Like it's kind of how people start the conversation. Because I mean, it's a 20-plus-year-old Jeep now. It's a '99. It's a TJ. If any of you folks out there, Jeep folks.
Are
But
you a
it's
Jeeper, guys? Or you guys are Jeeper?
yeah, excuse me.
Is that the term? You guys call you guys Jeepers?
Yeah, Jeepers is used.
Is that
Yeah, some people like go all out with it, and you'll see vinyl decals that say like Jeepers Creepers and shit like that, and you're like, okay, cool. You're like the 400th person to figure that out today. But whatever.
we did it?
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's not uncommon for people to talk to me about my Jeep and use it as a conversation starter. But I don't know, just talk to me about it. We I really do hate push start cars, like push button cars. Just hate them. And so we shared that complaint.
Why do you hate the future?
Because man, I don't like the idea of having to wait for my car to update. I just don't. Like when they did the whole like hacking a car on the highway test, it was a Jeep that they tested it on. Like I don't like the idea of cars going to be hacked that have to have updates, that have firmware, that have potential for bugs, like that kind of stuff doesn't. I don't like it.
I'll say this: if Microsoft comes out with a car, I'll probably not get that one.
No.
It'll be
just delete all of my window files.
no. It's gonna blue screen on you in the middle of the highway. You're gonna fucking.
There was that.
And if Samsung makes one, I'm gonna wait a couple of generations before I start,
hopping in.
in
Yeah,
case it explodes.
I'll wait for the Kit Kat version to come out. That's the one that I was like, okay, I'm in at Kit Kat.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it at the start. There's no way. It was a bit much to. Did you ever fuck with those G1s? Oh man, the first generation ones was just like, oh man, it's trying its hardest to beat Apple, but then but look how we're not, and it's like you don't have to try that hard. It's okay, like to not try that hard. That's fine.
Right.
Ugh.
But here's what she said as she walked away, which was the coolest thing I've ever heard anybody say to me. She just looks at me and goes, "You're cool as shit, though," and walks off. Like, you're right.
You're right. I am cool as shit.
Like, it's a matter of fact. Yeah, about that.
Well, the way you described it, I was wondering, like, Phot, have you ever had that kind of feeling where, like, you had an interaction that made you go, like, yeah, hell yeah?
I do not think so. I don't think I've ever had that feeling. Or what's it like?
What's it like, dude? What's
know,
it like?
man,
What's it like feeling cool? What's it like feeling like a badass?
I don't know. It's nice. It's really nice. Makes you feel good.
Well, what's it like waking up and just being like just knowing that you're Alabama man?
having Big Nick energy. I mean,
Having that Big Nick energy, dude.
Big Nick energy.
I piss excellence. So
I've only had that feeling, I think, once, and that was so after like me and this girl hook up, like I'm leaving, and she just goes, "Nice job," and like hits me on the shoulder, like she just bro my shoulder, and I was just like, all right, and then like she leaves, I get in my car and I leave, and I felt like, hell yeah, that was good, that was awesome, like. Go me.
I did it.
I did something.
Yeah. That's about right.
Yeah, but you know who probably doesn't feel that way? The people behind the Sonic movie.
Probably don't. You're probably right.
Holy shit. The memes have been amazing. There was a meme where they turned Sonic like into like they made him look like the genie from Aladdin, like Will Smith's genie. Like,
oh yeah,
it was amazing. I was like, yeah, that's the same reaction. but they don't get the chance to be like, look, it's regular skinned Will Smith there. With Sonic, it just looks. Oh, look at the human teeth. Oh, this is weird. This is weird.
That's huge mistake. Huge mistake. I'm glad that they're acknowledging that they messed up and going back to fix it. Like that's the right call.
What I'm worried about is because again, there's all that been talk about crunch and crunch time, this and that. Are they gonna keep the same release date? Are they gonna push it back to allow them to not, or was this a deliberate ploy that they made those scenes look shitty? To then like there's my tinfoil hat right there. Ready? Like they released this shitty trailer to get all this press about it because they knew it was kind of mediocre, middle of the road. So they put this real shitty. They've been building up, like releasing a single image here, this and that, leaking some stuff, and everyone hates it. And everyone's like, oh my god, this is gonna be awful. And now you have take after take after take of this is garbage. Then they come back and like heroes, like, look, we brought him back. It's the way you like him. And everyone's like, yay, nostalgia.
That sounds like a very Sega thing.
Right? Like that's something that Sega would probably pull off, right? Like I feel like I know it's totally like fucking tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. Where I'm just like,
I don't know. I kind of buy it now because unless they already knew and they started working on it back when they released the stills or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were sort of working on it and now they're probably just doing it full time now.
Do you think maybe they like started then and they just didn't have the ability to have it fixed before the trailer release? They just had to release what they had.
But it's made by Sega
hey,
and Sonic Team, right?
To just go ahead and say like we're gonna fix it, so like just go ahead and do it.
I feel like Sega has all the assets they need though for years of like 3D rendering of Sonic, this and that. They made that show, the Sonic Boom show. Even if people didn't really like how they looked there, they were like, fuck it, it's close enough. I feel like there was something they could have done.
I don't know. I never grew up playing or really liking Sonic games, so just seeing all these people get mad where they're just like, oh my god, my childhood is ruined now. It's like, I don't know. I just don't have that connection with Sonic. So this has all been very like
funny to you.
Yeah.
I have some good memories of Sonic, but like it's the game. I didn't watch the cartoon much or anything like that.
Really, you didn't like Urkel?
Oh.
That's a no good.
Like it wasn't like an intentional thing. It just didn't come up in my life.
It's something that I ended up watching a bit, and I saw a tweet, and I forgot from who, where it was like, remember when Sonic was an eco-terrorist who ate chili dogs? Good times. Good times. That's what the show was. I mean, that's what the games were, but they didn't really explain it that well. But in the show, he's just an eco-terrorist who's taking down the man, who is Dr. Robotnik and the machines and this and that. And like, we gotta free nature, man. He was just blowing shit up and being like, it's great, some chili dogs. Yeah, bring down the industrial complex. Not the military industrial complex, just industry as a whole. Bring it down. Fuck your factories, fuck everything. But to be fair, Robotnik was enslaving animals, so I mean, I can see where he was upset because he's also an animal, But he was an animal that could talk.
Specifically really cute animals, though. Like, that's got to be worse than just normal animals, right?
Like, why'd you put a little bunny in a gigantic robotic bee? Like, what did that do for you? Like, what did that do for you, my dude? Like, we're just gonna trap a bunny in a robotic bee that shoots at him. Like, well, what if those robotic bees were like to pollinate because there's no bees left, and like all we are doing is continuing to the destruction of civilization.
But why put the bunny in it?
I don't. Okay, you lost me there. Okay. I ran into a brick wall. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out. I can't even reverse engineer the stupid. Okay, I'm so sorry.
I don't know the lore behind Sonic.
The lore is so deep. There's. I mean, it depends what you're watching. The cartoon definitely had a story, and like the movie did. Like there was stuff to go on. Then like games like Sonic Adventure started having stories, like with the Chaos Emeralds and this and that, and going Super Saiyan. That was always the story, I guess you could go with. But it's not like if you played Sonic 1, 2, and Sonic and Knuckles, and you're not gonna sit there and be like, "What an engaging plot!"
Right. I didn't play those games because I wanted story. Like they were just really fun. I don't
You
even know
just
what,
wanted to go fast.
platformers. Yeah, I wanted to go fast.
It was a platformer in which it was more about memorization and timing than actually platforming. Oh, if I don't jump here, I run into spikes, and then coins fly everywhere. If I don't jump at this specific time, I won't get the power up, and coins fly everywhere. But I don't know. I liked the outrage because the memes were too good. Jessica Negri, the famous cosplayer, she immediately, once the trailer came out, like, started working on a meme costume to be at, like, that disgusting. Like, she's like, it's for the meme. It's for the meme. Like, she wants gigantic, exaggerated human teeth for it and everything. Like, she wants to go all out to be like, am I pretty? Stupid, sexy Sonic. I'm like, man, I wish I had that kind of drive to be like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So recently we talked about Cowboy Bebop a few weeks ago, the Netflix show, and the two things that were not announced were Ed and Ein. So I brought up that there was a lot of concerns among some people that I knew that Ein wouldn't be a corgi. So there was this blog, right? And the URL was some random, like, I created this on some random generator blog kind of shit. And it was like, Ein is not being cast as a corgi. And immediately I was like, bait. That's bait. They're trying to bait people who are already outraged over the fact that Jet was black and, like, oh, Spike is Asian. And it's kind of like, yeah, okay. But they were like, oh yeah, he won't be a corgi. And everyone who didn't like what they were doing with Cowboy Bebop were the same people who were kind of like, see, told you, it's going to be awful. I'm like, that article links no sources. There's nothing there. And why wouldn't it be a corgi? Like, if that was true, I would have some questions. Right? Like, that seems like an easy.
I would too, but you also kind of have to see it at least to make a judgment on it. Kinda. I mean, I would question too for sure.
If they went Golden Retriever, I'd be like,
it'd be a weird choice. If it made sense somehow, I'm open to it.
Maybe a Shiba.
See, a Shiba would make sense, but like a corgi makes the most sense in the show itself because he was fit in a fucking suitcase. So the whole point is you need a small enough dog, but also a plump enough dog to have, like,
give it the cuteness.
Modified him. Like, he was genetically modified. He was engineered to be a fucking, super dog. Not like the cat up there who's just cleaning himself. So, like,
I need to rewatch Cowboy Bebop then. I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, like, Ein, there's one episode, like, puts on the goggles and, like, hacks into something. Like, it's a smart fucking dog. But you're not gonna put a Great Dane in that role because that makes no sense. Like, how are you gonna sneak and get him and like, what the fuck? Also, I guess to loop back around, something else. Do you guys know what the hot and spicy is?
Hot and spicy.
The hot and spicy.
The hot and spicy from McDonald's. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
Yes,
eat there.
I do because I used to work at McDonald's.
My area doesn't have any.
That is terrible.
And it is the most tragic thing because growing up, that was what I mean, even if I never went to McDonald's, like, whenever they're like, oh, we're going to McDonald's, want something? Give me a hot and spicy. Like, I don't care.
What is it?
So it's like a McChicken, but it's a spicy McChicken.
Oh.
And it's delicious. But I don't have it, and, like, every time I, like, I visit somewhere else, there's like a certain line that you cross. Like once you cross this county line, it's like, by the way, we now have hot and spicy. So I'm just like, oh yes, give me like 5, please. They're like a fucking dollar. Like hell, like come, let's go. My pain just continues to compound. If that place that's close to me stops doing 20-piece meals, and then they also don't have hot and spices, I think I'm just never gonna eat McDonald's from there again. Which is probably a good thing in different ways.
I don't buy that because how do you not have 20 spice or 20 piece nuggets and no meal? Like it's such a staple in McDonald's menu.
I don't know. I remember when they had the you guys remember the 20-piece had the 2 drinks, 2 fries?
No.
Or was that just a thing that I had locally?
I mean, it sounds like something
Uh,
could be a thing. I just don't remember that.
that sounds like something that happened back in the 90s.
I don't remember. Probably it definitely happened in the 90s. It was great. Like if you guys wanted to share a 10-piece essentially. Like it was just a way to get 2 10-piece meals together. It was like the worst date night you could probably take someone on.
Let's be fat
Yeah.
together.
It reminds me of the Jeff Foxworthy joke. Could you supersize that for the little lady? It's our anniversary.
Get off my binder.
Get off my binder.
Thank you. Yeah, I need this one.
Cat, can you stop being a cat?
She
Stop
literally
it.
cannot. Literally cannot.
So speaking of like adaptations, there's a thing called there's a person in history called Yasuke. I think that's how you pronounce it, Yasuke. And he was the African samurai. He's a guy that was like taken from Africa, ended up in Japan, ended up becoming a samurai. Apparently, MGM is making a movie on him.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, this guy's a real interesting person. Are you guys gonna 47 Ronin this shit? Or are you going to have some
Just
respect?
cast Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, no, yeah, bring Keanu Reeves to be a samurai. Like, are we last samuraiing this shit? Like,
I guess so.
are we gonna samurai Champloo it? And because there's someone who happens to not be Japanese, we're just gonna throw hip hop music in there. Like, you just hear Kanye West in the background. Like, where are we going with this movie? I need to know. I feel like there's something missing in the context of we're just making this movie, about the black samurai, the guy from Africa. It's like, okay, how are you making this movie? What's the plot line? Is it about him being captured and becoming a samurai? Is it just his samurai time and like how he died? I need to know. But apparently, it says the script focuses on the complex relationship between the 2 men. Who's the 2 men?
You know what I really
Oh.
want is a surprise late cameo by Matt Damon.
Can we? Can they go and they have to go rescue somebody? They have to go rescue.
I really like when we have to rescue Matt Damon in the 3rd act. I don't know. It just makes me happy.
It adds a layer of validity, and then you can turn any movie, including The Martian, into a comedy.
Thank you. I like The Martian a lot. I like the book a lot. I think the cat is falling asleep in the chair.
I just think it's weird that they had ended up being labeled a comedy for no fucking reason. You know what I mean?
Couldn't tell you.
Like, oh, they want a thing for comedy. Why? Like, because it had jokes? That's not a reason. Not a good reason.
Like, a lot of really dark movies have jokes. There are dark jokes. There's a dark movie about a dark person named the Joker.
Are you ready for that? Are you ready for?
I'm open to it.
For a Joker
Like
movie.
cautiously optimistic. Especially with a Joker, like you can't really ever judge a book by its initial gut check, because a lot of people were just downright against Heath Ledger, and that was a mistake. So like, here, Joaquin Phoenix wants to do it, and you're like, okay, he's a weird dude. He's a little fucked up. I could see it. Let's give it a shot. And the trailer looked interesting. I'm willing. My body's ready. I still haven't seen Suicide Squad, uh, but I might see the Joker.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. Like the Suicide
Might.
Squad, is something you don't have to see
I know.
ever. It's
Something about knowing that I don't have to makes me feel better about myself. There are a lot of things wrong in the world, but I don't have to see Suicide.
I don't have to and hate myself.
And you guys know I'm a Batman fan, right?
Like huge.
Hardcore Batman fan.
The whole thing with the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie is, I'm worried that it becomes just another movie that has that okay, here's another movie about like disenfranchised like white guy who's gonna take it out on people, and he's kind of viewed not necessarily as a protagonist, but like this is okay. Like what's that movie?
Hero?
Anti-hero. Well, no, because we've had that quite a bit. We have like Walter White. We've had Tony Soprano.
Yeah, but people mistake those people for being protagonists, or I guess that's not the right word, but being heroes.
Right,
They're
but
protagonists, but they're not heroes.
like there's a movie called King of Comedy. There's a movie called King of Comedy, and then Taxi Driver, that the trailer was kind of compared to. Strangely, both De Niro films, like where De Niro plays this really like these really fucked up people, and that's the vibes that people are getting. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. See, yeah, that's exactly. We live in a society. I mean, you could say that out loud. You know that you have a microphone. Just gonna throw that out there for you. That you have you could have just said that instead of me having to fucking respond to that. Because I don't know. Like
I mean, it is true. We do live in a society.
I want to.
You're accurate. That's what we call this thing we put together to live in.
Turns out that when you step out of those lines, people are upset about it. And they're like, "Who are you trying to make happy, society?" Like,
Oh,
no, I'm trying to live in it though. Like, I don't want to. I want to be that guy who's like, yeah, I just don't shower because that's just what society wants. Like, how about no? How about no?
That is what society wants.
That is what society wants. You're just trying to make society happy.
You should take a fucking shower, you gross fucking chud. Like, no.
Like,
just because a lot of people think it's a good idea doesn't make it a bad idea. You're not special for having a different opinion than the norm.
Oh, I go against the grain, man. It's like, I had a conversation with somebody about that. About how I was saying that it's okay to acknowledge someone being shitty without being shitty about it. And it's okay to want to try to, like, not necessarily change that behavior, but inform that behavior. And hope that they take that in and change it themselves, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're like, why? Like, why does it matter? I'm kind of like, because ignorance is the reason why things stagnate. And if you don't say, hey, we don't do that no more, and it'd be best if you probably didn't, it's like, why? To conform to society? I'm like, it's not about conforming. It's not about that. It's about, I don't know, not being a shitty person, maybe. Maybe if you stop saying, like, it's kind of like one of those things. The example we were using was using like racial slurs and homophobic slurs. It's kind of like, what they're like, why would you say something to somebody who did that? I'm kind of like, because maybe they're not necessarily being hateful. And I know that there are some people who, again, like we all know, that have used those as interjections because at the time that they learned that as an interjection, it was considered acceptable. But like now we can look back and be like, That was unacceptable behavior. That was really shitty. And that was Nick's favorite word, problematic. Like, it's okay to not say those things now. We moved past that. You can move on. Well, like, why would you say something? Because maybe they don't realize that that's not okay anymore. And you kind of got to open up that avenue of conversation. Like, I don't know, like, Phot, have you ever had a conversation with anybody who said some like really messed up shit that wasn't a joke? Because I understand, like, being Mexican, you make that Mexican joke. You know, you go like, Mexicans. Like, we all do it, but it's not like serious. Yeah, but fuck them Mexicans. Like, no one's that serious. But once someone is, though, you're everyone needs to step the fuck back and be like,
I do. I know somebody who's like that, and I can't say who it is just because they're. It's like it's somebody I know, and then it's somebody related to them, and I can't talk to them about it without like
I was gonna say, is it?
somebody just knowing who it is. I don't know.
Are you afraid that they're gonna listen to this podcast and hear you basically call them out to stop being racist?
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna know when he sees
When
it
you, when
that I'm talking about him.
you, well, I mean, okay, that's fine. But so you've never brought it up. You've never tried to.
Here's the thing, like all these things that he says it over like at his house.
Oh, okay. Well,
So it's like
home base, is that what it is?
yeah.
If we're playing tag, this is home base. I
That's
can't
what it
be.
is.
I can't be
That's the
caught
thing,
it,
though.
dude.
Like if he were
I
to
can't
say
be
this
racist
stuff,
at my house.
if he were to say this stuff out in public, though, I would call him out on it. It's like, no, dude. Like it's like whatever when you do it at your home. You want to be a shitty person at home. At least the only person who knows about it is you. Again, like I wouldn't say I don't hate him, but I wouldn't go out of my way to hang out with them.
Hmm. Yeah, because
Fair.
again, the person that I was talking about this with, they were kind of like, I probably wouldn't hang out with those kinds of people either. I'm like, yeah, but you don't always see it, because sometimes certain things come out in certain situations. Like, the thing that bothers me if I'm being driven somewhere is if there's a bad drivers are everywhere. It doesn't matter where you're at. Everyone thinks that their place has the worst drivers. Blah blah blah. But like, if it happens to be a certain type of person that might do something like cut them off or something like that, it's then when you start hearing things like fucking women drivers, fucking Asian drivers, like anything that's a stupid stereotype comes out, and that's something that you don't normally see because you're not normally in that situation. But like, I hear that every time I hear like women drivers, I'm kind of like, you do know that there's lots of like bad dude drivers, right? Like everywhere. Like, you're currently texting. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that kind of thing. And it's like, you don't see those prejudices because you don't like see them encounter the opportunity in the same way. Like, I know, like, I don't know, Nick. I'm sure Nick's said something to somebody at some point over something.
A
Well, he
lot.
did have that video.
Which video?
Remember that video he posted where it's
But that's just general bad drivers. Like, don't be bad driving. Don't be bad driving. That's the don't be bad driving.
don't be bad driving.
Like I
Yeah, LA, don't be bad drivers.
well, because if I have the top down, I can actually yell at you really effectively because you can hear me and like you can see me, and it's easy. So yeah, if you do something really fucked up while driving, you're gonna hear from me a lot.
But I highly doubt you're gonna go after the somebody over something as baseline as like, oh, well, it's a woman, of course, because it's a woman driver.
oh no, never.
Again, that same person that I was talking about,
I
he
yell
does
at you
stuff
for
like
being a
that
fucking
too.
idiot. Idiot is not racial or gendered or anything. Anybody can be an idiot. It's the great equalizer.
What were you saying though, Fab, about the person you were talking about?
Yeah, the person I was talking about earlier, he's also that. He's
Oh,
just
where
like,
you'll generalize real hard.
yeah,
I don't know. It's like bad
It's just
drivers are
lazy.
everywhere. It's lazy. Yeah, it's not as nuanced as they think it might be.
Like it's one thing if you want to yell something creative or if you just need to vent, but like going for the low hanging fruit doesn't make you clever. Never has.
Yeah, I guess that's another way to put it. Low hanging fruit, super low hanging fruit. I don't know. It's just weird. Like, make fun of them for the car that they're driving. Okay, like go after that. Like if someone to go, of course, the piece of shit in the Mustang is the one that cuts me off. Of course, because lots of people own Mustangs. Lots of douchebags own Mustangs. Like go after the car they're driving. Go after something. Go after the color. Of course, someone in like a purple car is gonna cut me off. Like I've had that happen. I'm just like fuck that purple car. Like who?
I don't know, man. I saw a purple Jeep today. I kind of liked it. No. Like I don't cut people off. I just go slow because I drive a Jeep. And it'd be really nice if people understood that like I don't go slow because fuck you. I go slow because it's a Jeep. Like I can't go any faster. If you decide to go, 5 miles an hour up the fucking on ramp and then bolt, what the fuck, cat?
You just got attacked.
Get on, like that doesn't give me any room to speed up, so I can't. So I'm gonna be hitting the speedway at 15 miles an hour. Sorry, it's gonna take me a while to get there. 0 to 60 in 5 minutes. What are you doing, cat?
Simba.
Part of the problem with my truck. It's a pretty light truck. It's just a 1500, but it has a Hemi in it, so like I don't have to do anything for it to just be like, we're going, and it's just like, oh, relax, engine. Like, holy shit. Like the other day, I pulled out of a parking lot, and there was a small loose patch of dirt, and because of that, like the tire slipped. But all you heard was it sounded like I peeled out. Like it was like it just went, and I was like, "I'm going 10 miles an hour. Why are you doing this, engine? Like what the fuck was that?"
So the type of asphalt that they use in parking lots,
Mm-hmm.
And the type of paint they use on asphalt in parking lots, when you combine that with my mud tires, it makes that awful squealing sound.
Like
anytime I use them.
the parking garage sound.
Like the burning rubber, like I'm about to peel out. It sounds like I'm burning rubber like 60 miles an hour, and all I'm doing is like turning slightly.
I'm just adjusting to get into the parking.
Like I've just had people look at me like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" I'm like, "I'm not even moving. I'm going 1 mile an hour in my fucking four banger. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm not going fast. It just makes a squeal. I don't know. It's not my fault."
The four banger, dude.
Oh yeah. Not even a 6-cylinder. We're going straight 4, baby.
But doesn't your Jeep have the ability to go 6? Like it has the engine bay room.
Yeah, I mean it's the same body either way. You can drop whatever you want to in there. Like people drop diesel engines in there. Like I've seen all sorts of shit. Oh yeah, people just fuck around with.
I would
that's
totally have a diesel Jeep.
I think if this engine ever craps out, I'm gonna try that route.
Like that seems like a.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be fun.
I think that'd be really good.
We were just fucking around on YouTube the other night. We found a steam powered Wrangler. It was it was a 6-wheel drive steam powered Wrangler, and it had a modified instead of a horn, it actually blew steam out of a classic like train whistle. It was really fucking cool, actually. Stupid, but cool. It was like, it could get like 30 miles per hour, but it had like 1,000 horsepower or some shit. Like, it was stupid. Or no, it was like 2,500 horsepower with like a 50 mile per hour max speed or something. Like, it was stupid. Like, it's not going to get there fast, but it will always get there.
That's so awful. I'm just gonna be out there. That's fucking awful, dude.
I'm gonna try and find it and put it in the chat. Hold on.
Please do. That seems
I'll
like
have something to watch when I go into work tonight.
just a steam engine Jeep.
It's so good.
It's
called the Loco Hawk.
Oh god, has the steampunk community gone too far? Find out at 11, dude. Jesus Christ.
No, it hasn't.
They roll up in their convention, just like woo, woo. Oh no. Why you should be able to post links though. What the fuck?
Did it not let me?
It did not let you. No, sir.
You can see it, right?
No, like it's just 3 asterisks.
Oh shit.
It should have let you though. I'll try to figure that out. Send it over to Facebook. I'll link it. But yeah, that's interesting. Or I'll watch it. Like I'll put it up here on the stream.
I'll get you a picture of it too. The video is interesting.
The video's interesting. Yeah, I'm a little.
Like you can't really appreciate it without seeing it move. In my opinion.
All right, I'm gonna try something. Okay. I'm gonna try something that I haven't had a chance to test out.
Hold on.
Necessarily
Here.
here. Let me open up. Boom.
Oh shit.
Let's take a look.
For the window.
I know. So for anyone listening to the audio, it's called the Loco Hawk, HAUK, steam powered 6x6 Jeep JK. That's the name of the video, and that's what.
Jake refers to the body.
Oh my God! Look at that thing. It has like a tank in the back. The steam engine's just like in the back. That's what needs a 6th wheel.
Yeah.
Those-
It looks like it's meant to be like a fucking barbecue smoker. Like that's what I thought it was at first. I thought somebody just put a big old barbecue smoker.
And that would be the best the mobile
With a second
barbecue pit,
axle.
dude.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
I don't see.
I've seen people do shit like that.
There's nothing but pictures though.
Maybe it is. There was one that actually showed it moving that we watched the night. Let me find it.
All right, well, either way, that was interesting. That was interesting to see. Super fancy 4 screens. I know. I'm learning to try to incorporate different things now. All right, like I think that's it's a good thing. So for anyone listening over the audio, here on the stream, I can put it now next to all of us, or I can just that could be the only thing I swap to. I can swap to that scene alone. Haha. Then we can go full screen.
Here's a quick video of it.
All right, we'll take a good hard look. Here in a little bit, though, we're probably going to be entering some massive spoiler area. So, fair warning ahead of time before we get to it, that we're probably going to be talking about some Game of Thrones speculation, some what's it called?
These two should
Endgame is another.
sufficient.
There we go. Let's Steam culture.
That sounds ridiculous.
Oh, there it is. Oh my God.
Can
Can it move? Like I don't want.
The interior
There
is
it is.
actually steampunk.
55-gallon water tank for a boiler that operates literally around 1,000 pounds.
Here's the one.
Apparently, it's
Oh
most
my
efficient
God.
at 35 miles an hour.
35
but you
miles
can
an
only
hour.
go a mile or a mile and a half. So
Yeah.
make your
But you
trip.
can only go a mile or a mile and a half. That's its max travel distance.
Yeah.
Ouch, dude. I don't know what that face is for, Zix, but all right. I hope I didn't offend you. Anyway, yeah, that's fucking weird. I don't know if I would have like how much that must have cost to have a vehicle that goes like a mile and a half tops. Like,
I mean, just that Wrangler out the door would be probably around 60 grand. So, you're talking probably another 50 to 100 to convert it, I would guess. Like that's not an easy conversion. That's adding an axle. That's refitting the entire way the engine works. They had to refit the gears. I'm thinking it's really weird.
seems like I guess it's a lot of work for.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, just a lot of work.
Usually
really.
for like those weird like Franken car creation things, it's a shop doing it to show off like what they're capable of. So they'll take it around as like a show vehicle. I went to the opening of an off-road place down in Chelsea, a couple of like 30 minutes south of here, because we have a store in that town. So I went to do the grand opening, and they had a couple of theirs out front that were just like. One was just completely built out of like spare parts. It was random cobbled together shit, and the other was a Wrangler that they'd souped up. It's just their way of kind of showing off and being able to kind of have something to go and take around and off with. Like, I'm guaranteeing that's what's happening here. I don't remember exactly, but gotta be. Let's see. Yeah,
Oh,
Phot designs.
That's interesting. That's so interesting. But I feel like that's a lot of work for. I guess it's cool. It's a cool toy. It's a cool toy. Like I don't know if I would ever have be so well off that I.
Just have a car that can only go a mile.
Yeah, like I have an entire car whose entire purpose is to be like, wasn't that cool?
We are not sponsored by Hawk Off Road. We're just impressed.
We're just
They have some other stuff that's cool on here too.
we're just impressed. So sad news about like Peter Mayhew passing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're entering a second level of 2016
I hope not.
where it's going to be a lot of people from like those older generations are going to start dropping off real soon. Because, I mean, you think about things like, okay, Ozzy Osbourne is still around. Like Mick Jagger. I know it's not like a huge thing, but like he's been around for quite a long fucking time.
There are a few pickled rock stars out there that yeah, any day now.
Like it's like, oof, it's gonna be really rough. Like I'm surprised Peter Mayhew lived as comfortably as he did for so long, because he always, even back then, he seemed like, because of his height and everything else, he seemed like things were very like difficult for him.
I mean, he's been using a cane for a long time just because he had to, like, to remain ambulatory.
Right. That's why I found it a little like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. It's getting to the point now where I'm not even shocked by dying anymore. Like, you're just kind of like, oh, cool. It's one more thing that hurts a little bit, and then on to the next one, I guess.
kills you off just a little more on the inside.
Just a bit.
Just a little
Not
more
whole
on
lot
the
left.
inside.
You keep finding that there's more to chip off, and you keep thinking, okay, that's it. No more chips, and then you find another.
Oh, damn it. My fish and chips.
That's it.
Alright, so I've been playing Divinity 2 just to, like, I wanted to play alone to kind of get a feel for the mechanics, get a feel for like how the systems work, because we've been talking about you writing a campaign, and I'm currently stuck on a problem that I know you guys know that I'm stuck on, is whether or not I should fuck that lizard. And I didn't realize that would be so big of a like choice for me, because I know it's not a good idea. Like, it's the strangest, like, I shouldn't be as conflicted about, like, when it's kind of like, okay, do we save this person or kill this person? I can make that decision. Whether or not we're going to be a nice person or a complete dickhead, easy choice. But this lizard's like, sup? Want some of this? You gotta have your friends leave the room. And I'm just like, like, that sounds like a trap. Ah. And so, like, for the time being, I've left. Like, that's still just the thing that I like. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in that, and then I walk my happy ass away. I'm gonna go do other things.
I can't wait until you do. Talk about it.
You can't wait until I possibly fuck the lizard. Like, I took the chicken to the chicken's den. I didn't get like any sort of option on what to do, and I like when I looked it up, there was an option. I didn't get that option. Whatever, fine, fuck it. We're just gonna do whatever. So I did the thing, moved on, and now I'm like, okay, I gotta cross over this bridge, and I'm trying to get down to where this, like, the kid's mother was fucking, like, kidnapped, but then there's like a billion things in between. I'm just like what? There's so much to do. There's so much shit to do. and I think that it's a great game that I wish other people would play. Because
I have to convince people to play it, and it pains me because it's a great game.
well, you didn't open up with you could fuck a lizard, so I mean, I feel like you missed an opportunity to get some people on board
I
sooner.
try to tell people though, like it's the RPG you've been wanting. Like if it were in first person, it would be the best-selling game of all time. Like,
Well, not even that. I think that for a number of people that I used to play WoW with, I feel like this could be that replacement. At least for now. At least for now. And maybe not in an MMO sense, but definitely in a... You could play this game again.
sense.
Yeah, an RPG sense. You can play this game again and completely have a different route and a different way of things go down.
Totally. There's so many different ways you can do everything. You really do have a ton of freedom. It's very Skyrim-esque. You can do it however you want to. That's what's nice about it.
There was a friend who I used to raid with who I got to play with me, right? But I had him make every... I just followed him. I'm like, you make every decision. We're going to do whatever you think. And he did things that I had never seen. I mean, it's not like I have like a bunch of experience with it, but he made choices that I would never have made. And that's why I was like, this is interesting. Like the very first thing that you find, because okay, you have the tutorial deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go to the tutorial deck and you have the guard, and so like we had the guard, we had the prisoner, but then like the first thing you do once you leave the fucking stumbling over that word, tutorial deck. The first thing you do is you encounter that magister alone in that room.
Mm-hmm.
The door's closed. No one knows shit. And he picked a witch. So the first thing he did was, I'm gonna put this bitch to sleep. And I was like, what? Like, and so he just puts her to sleep, like immediately. We exit the room. He didn't talk to her. He didn't do anything. He put her to sleep, and then we just beat her. We just beat the shit out of her because that's the choice that he wanted to make. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. So when the time came that you had the choice to go like speak with her at certain parts, I was like, I don't know what to do next. I guess we're just gonna move on. Like we don't have that option anymore. It's no longer there. You killed her. Like,
Yep.
All right, we're moving on.
There are entire like pathways you can close off accidentally without ever realizing they were there.
Oh yeah. Oh, Buddy the dog. Buddy the dog. He goes up to talk to Buddy the dog, and I'm like, okay, let's see where he goes. He feeds Buddy the dog part of a lizard.
Oh.
And Buddy attacks us because he's like, fuck, this is gross. So Buddy attacks us. We enter combat, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
I didn't know Buddy could attack you.
Like, Buddy's angry.
I've never pissed Buddy off.
You've never fed him fucking like lizard.
No, I always eat the lizards.
But apparently dogs don't like lizards, or at least Buddy doesn't. He got mad and attacked us.
You play undead, so you can pretend to be an elf, then you can eat people and get their memories. Delicious memories.
Delicious memories. Pro tip: if anyone who plays Divinity 2, if you're playing an elf, you can eat body parts.
Everyone.
Eat people.
Unless you have to give somebody's head, because then you can mess up quests if you eat it.
It was just, he goes like, did I do something wrong? I go, no. You're playing the game exactly how you want to play, and I'm along for the ride because this is now a completely different game. Like what I went through, what my save file is nothing like your save file now.
I have a very strong conscience, so like I can't even do bad things to people in game without like really working at it. And so people that can just do wanton destruction are amazing for me to play with.
Because you're just like, oh, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I see things I never get to see, like Buddy the dog attacking you. Never seen it.
I was fucking floored, man. Because he was just like, all right, we're gonna kill this person. I was all like, okay, like we're gonna kill this person then, I guess. Like, it was weird. And then like I don't know, it was crazy. I recommend that game. I recommend it. I want you to play it. I want to play with you. I want to see what your choices are. I want to see where we're going. What are we doing? Are we picking up party members? What's the plan? I
I've bought it at
like.
least 4 times.
Oh, it's so fucking good. Like I literally played it for hours upon hours.
Like I just ask if people will pay it forward. Like if I buy the game for you, buy it for somebody else that you or don't love. I don't care. Do
Someone you hate.
what you do.
Someone
Yeah,
you
but-
hate.
Just ruin their life by giving them a room that they'll just play until
Yeah, you won't. You
They
don't
have
want to
no
do anything
job.
else. You'll lose your passion for other hobbies. This will take all of your time.
I won't lie. That did eat up quite like a several. And again, we go back to that same discussion about like live service games, where it requires you to have like infinite time to play them, and they want to eat up all of your time. Like there isn't just I'm going to play this game and then I'm moving on. Like there's dailies you have to do. There's this you have to do for every game. In Anthem and Division and Destiny, there's things you got to do. Keep you playing. Keep you coming back. And if I'm not playing those games with the people who are currently on that fucking path loop, like they're like, ugh, why are you playing that? I don't know. Didn't feel like playing Apex again right now.
Right.
Like I played it for fucking 100 hours straight. I wanted to do something else. I don't know. I want to do something else. Is that fine? Like, damn. Like let me enjoy something else. Like goddamn. Like I was playing Northgard, and whew, that game is still complicated as fuck for me. Like I am like, what the fuck am I doing? How do I keep my people happy? It's worse than Civ. It's worse than Civ happiness.
Yep.
It's honestly the worst.
I believe that.
Because I mean, what is it now for Civ 6? It's not happiness, right?
Blanking. It's oh god, I can't think of what the word is anymore.
It's been so long since I played Civ 6. I've played Civ 5 more recently, but
Just can't think of the word. I've been doing that a lot.
blinking, just blinking.
Yep. I've been playing a lot of FTL lately. Have you played FTL?
Faster than light, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah. FTL : faster than light.
isn't that the don't you like build a ship and
Yeah, so
you
it's
have
kind
to
of like
maintain
a
it?
shipbuilding a roguelike. So you have to control the people in the systems. You're like an AI that dictates where people go to like maintain and operate the ship. So you have different systems you have to figure out how to power and add more power to for better weapons and shit. Like, you know, it's fun. There's a bunch of different ways you can play it. You can just go all out guns and shoot at people, or you can do missiles, which you have to maintain stockpiles of, or you can use drones and have people, you know, operate drones that go and attack stuff, or you can send people over in teleporters to board their ship and kill all their people, or you can hack into their oxygen systems and shut it down and start, or you know, oxygen starve everybody to death. You can go about it multiple different
Yeah,
ways.
you can attack their life support systems where they all like just die because they have no life support now.
My favorite thing to do is to use crystal people because they suck oxygen out of the rooms. So I drop them in to a ship and try and distract people, and then I bombard their oxygen system until it goes out, and then the crystal people suck all the oxygen out of the ship and they die. So the crystal people are attacking them as they're getting starved of oxygen, and everybody just kind of suffocates and dies, and then I get all of the ship instead of just parts of the ship that I blow up. So you get more scrap, which you use to upgrade your ship more, and blah blah blah. But I like it because it's only like 700 megabytes, so it can run on my Surface really.
I can I can run it on my low end like iPad.
What's that?
On your work tablet?
It's the reason why I like my iPad. To be completely honest with you, I like my iPad because I don't mind mobile games, but I want it on a bigger screen. Like,
Right.
and
No, I
so-
fucking love this Surface, dude. It's a beast.
but I do want the Surface because like I could play Microsoft games on it. Like I want to play Civ, like, but like on just an iPad. I mean, like laying down and not like
Right.
on my computer.
I haven't tried it yet because it's going to take up a large amount of my hard drive. Install it when I have a vacation or something.
Does it have like a not necessarily a USB drive, maybe like an SD slot or anything like that?
It actually has a card reader. Yeah.
I feel like I would install like games and play it like a Game Boy. We're like, I'm gonna play this and just slide it in
It's not a bad idea.
and just. What do you have in that little? What's in your little knapsack? A ton of sticks. Why? Those are my games. Like, like, oh, okay.
Kick it old school. I was just thinking fanny pack. It's perfect.
Oh my god. Well, on my Switch, I've also been just playing Stardew. Yeah, I got Dark Souls on it too, but it's like I don't know.
Good.
There's an issue with I don't know. The game just doesn't. I don't know. Like on consoles, like A is accept, B is uh, cancel. On the Switch, A is cancel, B is accept, and there is no option to change it. Even though, well, there's an option to change it, but it's grayed out, so you can't switch those two options out. But you can switch any other button out in the game.
I bet it's so that like I bet it's so a software can't change the order of the buttons so you accidentally buy something without realizing you were buying it.
The thing though is
But that's fucking stupid that it literally gives the option and just doesn't let you use it.
yeah,
I'm just saying, I bet you money that's why. Like,
a lot of people have just been complaining about it on from software's Twitter since the game got released on the Switch, and they have not done about it.
I keep accidentally leaving my mic
So it's
muted.
pretty hard to play because it's just like, oh, when I play this game, I have to remember that A is cancel, B is accept.
It's just weird that it's not like application specific, because you can do that like on a lot of things where these buttons are application specific. For this game is online, these are the buttons I want for it. Like, don't be weird. I don't know. I feel like some of those games, it's best to play. Like I'd rather play it on a PC with a controller. Which reminds me, like you finished your PC, right, Phot?
I mean, for the most part.
What do you still have left?
I mean, everything else is just things that I want, like maybe more hard drives, swap out some of my older hard drives that I have in there still,
Mm-hmm.
better fans, an AIO maybe, so I can do some overclocking. What else? I mean, that's basically it. Oh, and a new monitor because I don't know, my monitor is like 60 megahertz and it's terrible. No G Sync, no nothing, just 60.
Time for you to get it up to 144.
Yeah, I've been looking at monitors and unfortunately my job just doesn't pay me.
At
So
all.
yeah, about that.
About that. It's just that's just unfortunate. If I'm completely honest with you, that whole situation that we're, with you getting paid. But
I'm
okay.
supposed to get a paycheck on Monday, so we'll see what happens. But I've thought about looking for like a second job, and
Oh,
then
you should.
as I do that second job, I'll switch over to full time, switch out of this job to part time, and then maybe just eventually leave it altogether. I'm actually supposed to be getting ready for work right now because I got to be there in 30 minutes, but
Hey,
I don't care so much.
in that time, you know what we're gonna be talking about? We're gonna be talking about some Game of Thrones.
Spoils.
Okay, I need to probably have like a visual spoiler thing as well. I could probably do that. 1 second. Text. Spoilers. The word is.
Yeah, Zix.
Yeah,
Post it.
Zix, be careful. Yeah, he was like, fucking, you're doing what? Like, I'm out. Like, Understood. I get that 100%.
Like, here's the thing. Like, I haven't seen Game
Hang
of
on, hang
Thrones
on,
at
hang on.
all
Oh, I mean, like,
this season. No, I'm not gonna go into spoilers because I haven't watched anything Game of Thrones, but I honestly don't care for spoilers for this show. Like
okay. Then I say you ask questions. If you have any questions about what the fuck,
that's the thing though. Like I kind of know what happens
I
because
mean,
I literally would just, oh, this guy uploaded a video about the newest episode. I'm gonna just watch that, and I would rather just watch that than spend an hour watching Game of Thrones right now. I don't know.
Zix has now linked you something to watch the difference between AIOS versus coolers for OC for
Oh yeah,
overclocking.
I've seen that one.
Like I said, if there's anyone you want to talk to about overclocking and everything like that, Zix is the man. Like he's the one that did your the budget setup for you, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
He did the same thing for me. He built my rig that I'm on right now, like
The Threadripper.
the Threadripper rig. But yeah, I think that I have had the spoiler warning up there long enough to then kind of go into it. What a dark episode, like lighting wise, and then
Writing wise, not really tone wise. It was trying for that tone wise, but
I'm torn because I liked the episode. I really liked the episode. But I understand every criticism that I've read, and I've felt it.
Here's my very quick summation. It's a good episode of Game of Thrones. It is a terrible resolution to a storyline ongoing for not 20 years ago. It is a terrible wrap up to a plotline that really should have been like the apex of the show in my mind. Like, I don't know. For me, A Song of Ice and Fire is not about the war for the Iron Throne. Not the main point, but I guess it was.
Well, because throughout the show, and I know in the books as well, the entire through line has been the Iron Throne doesn't matter. All that matters is the survival of the living.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. The Night Watch are there for a fucking reason. Blah, 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 blah. And you have this uniter of men in Jon Snow who's brought the free folk, who's brought all the North together, and he's the one to lead us into this march for life, essentially. This
Like, just because I've been reading these books since I was 15. Okay, it's half my life now, so I've been waiting on this wrap up for a minute. I don't get it. Like, we didn't learn anything. We didn't see any whites actually participate in anything. Bran didn't do anything. Like,
yeah, he did.
missing something?
Yeah, he did.
He
Took a joyride on some ravens. Yeah, he took a joyride. Okay.
You know what would at least made it interesting?
He took over the dragon.
Is if right as old buddy Night's King starts to go for the sword, and he's about to go into Bran, like Bran just suddenly stands up and stabs the fuck out of him, and then Arya rips the face off. Like, at least that's something, right? But otherwise,
But that would mean that she had to kill
what
Bran
was
to
the
do
fucking
that.
point? I don't know if that's true. Like,
She has to steal their face.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
The way that they've explained it is that she
Whether
literally
they
has to
explained it
steal their
in the
dead.
show.
Yeah, they have to steal a dead person's actual face, and she has a collection of dead people faces.
My biggest issue here is that we've done all this, and now all of the whites and White Walkers and all that have exploded. So nobody's gonna believe you when you go south. Nobody's gonna care.
Yeah, nobody's in it.
Like, Cersei's right. Cersei just won. Cersei is correct. Because she sat there on the Iron Throne and said, nope, I'm going to stay here and kind of wait and see how it plays out. And she won. Like, she didn't do shit and everything's fine. And for all she knows, it never really existed. Like, oh, sure you had Dothraki. I didn't see him. Where are they?
But she saw the dead. She saw the dead. They brought the dead
She
to
saw
her.
one, and I mean, not that there's not like 400 different ways we could explain that in just the lore of the show. Like,
I mean, she also brought the mountain back, so she knows that this kind of
that's
magic
what I'm
is
saying.
available.
Like, she knows this can happen, so she's like, okay, not impressed, and now she's right. Like, at the very least, if they'd had to lose Winterfell and fallen back somewhere, maybe more people would have seen, and then there could have been like no question. But now they're gonna have to go and do the exact same fucking conversation from last year. Except this time there isn't anything incoming. It's just, hey, you should give me the throne now. Like I don't see the imperative to have to suddenly go back down to King's Landing, except that it's just what Dany really wants to do. But now we don't even know if that's gonna happen because Jon has a better claim. I don't know how we wrap this up now.
Well, I feel like okay, so to go back because
Good
there was
thing we have 3 more episodes.
3 more episodes. The thing that I feel about this, everyone is so like, even you. This like, would you feel it's anticlimactic?
Absolutely.
Do you feel like that's a George R. R. Martin kind of thing to do, though?
Kind of now.
That's
Didn't used to
kind
be.
of what I kind of felt was like, oh, they build you up for this whole like giant prophecy, and then they just like sucker punch you.
Yeah,
Like, no, it
he
turns
didn't
out it wasn't
have
that
anything
big.
in mind. It's the same shit that happened in Star Wars. Like, oh, we wrote an interesting premise. We didn't know what to do with it.
I think that I still put a lot of that on Ryan Johnson.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying that's what happened. Like,
And I, like, where people
it's an interesting premise. We have no actual plot. Like maybe some.
because they say they've known what this episode was going to be 3 years ago. So like whenever George was like, here's how it's playing
They
out.
knew Arya was going to be the one years ago. Like they've known it forever.
And it's like, okay, so what is the way that he would do it? Like, really kind of without fanfare, without that much fanfare. And it's kind of like, well, that's it. I mean, how many times throughout the series has it just been, and well, Remley's dead. Like, cool. And now it's just one Stannis army, one Baratheon army. Like, that was it. It was, they had this whole thing, a lot of conflict, blah, blah, blah. And then he's dead. We're moving the fuck on.
Seasons, it was very clearly a subversion of the fantasy tropes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every time you thought something was going to work out, it would be undercut immediately. Just go hard the opposite direction. You could never depend on something to actually develop and play out the way it was expected. And that was interesting. Like, everybody liked it. Like, you're damn expecting somebody to come in and save Ned until the very last second.
Or for him to just be,
something's gonna happen.
he's going to go take the black, and like the way that they said he would.
Yeah, like something's going to happen. It's not going to go this way. And it does. And the same for Renly. You're like, oh, Renly's going to just storm in there and like do this thing. Like he's obviously the one to make this happen. And then he's just gone.
And that's it.
You know, they keep subverting the idea, but now you have to wrap it up. And you can't wrap things up just by being subversive.
I don't think it's going to wrap up.
I think you might be right.
I think that it's going to be the ultimate like subversion of subversion, where he's just kind of like, the Iron Throne doesn't matter. The thing that mattered happened, but life and humanity kept going because we won for life. Because we won the battle for life, life as is continues.
I thought he was going to phone it in by having everybody lose and die.
You mean to have the Night King sit on the Iron Throne?
Yeah, like I thought the last chapter would be, the wind wafting over the frozen tundra of Dorne. Like
No.
Like that's where I thought it would be. Like if you're gonna phone it in and quit somehow, like that's how you should do it. You should do it by subverting the entire thing, by being like, nope, no happy endings. Not even in the very end. Everybody dies.
And that's what someone had said. They were kind of like, oh, there's too many people alive at the end of it. I'm kind of like, there's still 3. But there's still 3 more episodes. Like, how these people die?
But this was supposed to be the long night, and nobody of any importance died. Like, really?
How dare you speak of Lady Mormont that way? How dare you? She was precious, and she was amazing, and how dare you?
nobody of any value died.
There was an interesting theory that I heard that whenever Tormund had said earlier that he's like, I slept with a bear, and everyone kind of like, oh, you fucked the bear, I fucked the bear. What if he fucked the Mormont and Lyanna's his daughter from that, and so he's a giant killer?
Like a book reader.
Right. What if that meant that?
No, wait a second. What if everybody's a merman?
I'm in. What if Westeros is really Atlantis?
Because at a certain point, I'm even wondering, like, did he even really intend for all this shit with Jon to go down, or like chicken? And the fan theories were better than what he had.
There's
like,
a possibility
for Jon to be a Targaryen, and everybody else figured out a way to make it actually like fit, and he's like, "Oh shit,
that's good."
That's why the book is taking so long to come out. He's like, "Oh fuck, I gotta go rewrite that fucker." God damn. Like, this is way better. Okay, do your TV thing. I gotta go back to the.
But here's how it ends. By the way, figure that one out.
And I'll write the books after.
It becomes the novelization of the show.
I mean, for somebody who really can't figure out how to end it, just kind of making somebody else do it first and then giving yourself, their framework to build it off of, like, it's the ultimate cop-out.
I mean, I don't know.
There's a huge part of me that's thrilled that Arya got to do that, and especially in that.
There were some people who thought that it should have been Jon.
I mean, yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
They've spent since the beginning.
It was going to be the apex of that was going to be the big moment. Like, if this was episode 6, it's got to be like, okay, what should have happened if I don't, assuming that nothing else crazy happens in the last 3 episodes, should have happened is this should have been episode 6, and right as whichever dragon it was rears up to fucking blast Jon. It does, and then it doesn't work because he's a fucking Targaryen, which nobody knew until that point. And Dany sees it and goes, holy shit, wait a minute, you must be a Targaryen. And then he goes and kills. That's how it should have ended. That should have been the end of it.
I would have liked if this was episode 6. If it was like what happened with Theon. What happens with Jon, where he just gets stabbed, and then that's pretty much it for Jon. But then Jon goes like, "Me too, my dude," and like fucking kills him, and so like they both die. They kill each other to cancel that out, and boom, and then whatever's left is whatever's left. But I don't know. They've been building Arya up since the first time she's on fucking screen.
Yeah.
Like, okay, she can shoot a bow and arrow. She doesn't want to be like the girls. Most girls are stupid. Like, it's been this. She trains with what is his name? Syrio. She trains with Syrio.
Syrio Farrell.
Syrio Farrell. She trains with Syrio, and then
first sword of Rose.
Oh fuck!
Get his name right.
Phot's camera went out.
Oh no!
Way to go, Phot.
It's a terrifying picture.
I know, isn't it?
Well, we work on technical difficulties.
No, I just swapped the camera, but okay, I guess now it's just me by myself. Back to me.
Just keep talking.
Back to me.
Get something to drink. Damn, homie.
So, I feel like they've been building her up. Like she trained with Syrio, then she met the faceless dude. I forgot his name. But then she was under the Lannister tutelage, and I don't know. There was just a lot of things, that I feel like they built her up. Then of course she trained to be a no one.
But also, like, that not me.
You're too far away from your computer now. It's your bike's cutting off.
My bad. But like the whole Song of Ice and Fire thing. So like, did that just not mean anything? It wasn't important.
The what thing?
The Song of Ice and Fire, the whole prophecy thing. That's what we've been building towards the entire time, is some resolution. that concept. Ice to the fire.
I don't know.
How does that fit? I guess this doesn't mean anything. I don't know. We had such high hopes. And it's just never going to live up to them.
I mean, I think that was the problem. You got like the entire thing's been hyped up for so long. There's nothing.
Because the quality was there for the first 3 books.
Yes, but there was no conclusion. There was no conclusion that would have satisfied in the same way. Like, there's nothing. Like, I honestly don't think there was a single thing that would have satisfied everybody to be like, yeah, that's what I wanted. Because at this point, there's nothing really. At a certain point, when the show kind of took over without a book frame,
where mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made. No, I mean not just that, but it was more they didn't have rails, so there isn't as much evidence behind like what should be happening, could have been happening.
Right. It's kind of like when you have an employee who's really good at managing sucks because he just wasn't good at that. Like he can work good, but he's not good at making decisions. That's David and DB. Like they were doing a great job when they had somebody already telling them what to do. And like had the plot laid out for them, but when it came time for them to have to lead the story,
but it's not like they didn't have fucking George R. R. Martin to fucking be there to lead the way, right?
But Martin doesn't have an idea for the end of the story either. Like that's the thing.
Okay, so then how can you? That's what I'm saying. Where do you lay the blame? Like you can blame the blame on D&D, but
I don't blame them necessarily. I'm just saying like that's what happened. Like they were doing a great job when they were just following somebody else's story. As soon as they had to take it over themselves, they couldn't do it. No knock on them. They did a great job of adapting something to film. They just ran out of source material. It sucks, but they did.
I don't know. I think that it's going to be interesting heading into the last 3 episodes.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a couple of days.
But mainly because, like, we have heard that but I think that's where it's the ultimate irony, where it's yes, the battle for the throne does not matter. It's just this. Well, they've done this now. They've now saved humanity. But what humanity did you save? You saved people that do compete in the Game of Thrones. You saved that. And now...
But if you can take Cersei out, you've actually kind of... too. So, like... We are too close to a fairy tale ending. And that's what I'm worried about. Like, we go down there, we have a Clegane Bowl, Mountain dies, Cersei dies. You know, the Iron Islands people figure their shit out, and then we have Jon and Dany kind of take the throne together or whatever. Like, that's what it's building up for.
But isn't that
that's kind of boring?
Is that not the way that the entire series started? Where this is almost 20... This is 17 years after the Happily Ever After.
So you're saying that it's kind of cyclical, like it'll leave on a happily ever after, but that's just meant to lead into the exact same thing happening.
What is it? One of the things that they said at the beginning of the book series and the show. Eventually, a Stark is always right. Winter is coming, where maybe the Night King has come back because that's the cycle, and it's been so many 1,000 years since then. That okay, so he died. He got stabbed by dragonglass, fucking whatever. But there's this chance that he will come back.
Here's one theory that I've heard, and I'm curious your take on it because I kind of like it, and it could maybe save it for me.
Okay.
So, let's say that when Bran went and did his whole thing beyond the wall, he didn't become the Three-Eyed Raven. Like Three-Eyed Raven took over Bran. Bran's
a vessel.
Yeah. And, you know, because the children of the forest and humans didn't get along. Like, we wiped them out. So they're, ostensibly vengeful. So what if this guy who's been helping out the children of the forest isn't here to help us? Like, what if he's here to wipe out humanity in some bid to try and bring back their ability to take over? What if the White Walkers were actually coming down to try and stop him? Because they didn't seem to cross the wall until he was beyond it again, as the Three-Eyed Raven. So what if we all get down to King's Landing and Cersei gets killed and Dany and Jon duke it out and maybe end up off in one of the other or some bullshit, and Mountain's gone and Jaime's gone, all the contenders are, and then Three-Eyed Raven just kind of decides to pop up out the wheelchair and be like, thanks, you've cleared the way for me. And now we have a new big bad that we have to somehow wrap up in the last episode or so.
Again, if that's the case, I don't know if it'll be wrapped up. I don't know if it'll be wrapped up. It's
like, again, you could have the bad end then. It's possible. You could have him just take the throne and ice starts to kind of creep out or whatever, and it's right back to where it was. Like, bait and switch. That's what we're hoping for, though, is some kind of weird, crazy, last-ditch Hail Mary, and it's just not going to be there.
I feel like because everyone has built up and has been leaning on this whole Game of Thrones is so brutal, it subverts, blah, 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 that if the ultimate subversion is, by the way, it does end in a fairy tale ending, like, I could see that being a George R. R. Martin kind of thing to do, to be like, yeah, and then things worked out for the people still left alive.
I think he just got tired of writing it. Like, he's written a bunch of short stories in the same universe, the Dunk and Egg stories, which are really good. I think he's over it.
Well, I think it was more the fact that he couldn't keep up with the amount of plot lines that he had.
Right.
And it required, like, didn't he say that he had like these 3 people that he consulted, like the keepers of the lore kind of thing? There are people that he had a keepers of the lore kind of group of people that he would send things to, and they would like go through to see if things were still consistent with everything that he's written. And then they would tell him like, hey, this part doesn't make sense because at this point, like 350 years ago, like this happened, which means that this person wouldn't be here, and it's kind of like, oh, okay,
right. So it's like that person who was the lore keeper,
right? But I feel like that's why I like some of the decisions that the show made, where they just like, yes, Tyrion's supposed to be blonde, but at some point they just said, okay, fuck it, like let him just grow his natural hair out, it's fine. Like it
stuff like
looks
that really
weird.
isn't as important as natural looking stuff. Like part of the first episode was still pilot footage, and you can see him with a dye job as opposed to natural color, and it looks bad. I think they did Dany's eyebrows dyed at one point too, and it was just bad.
Yes.
Some things are not worth doing just for aesthetic reasons. Really not.
I don't know. With speculations before we wrap up, speculations.
I don't know.
Like, do you feel okay? Well, so then here's my question: do you feel like the way that this episode, knowing that there's still 3 episodes left, half the season's done, but this is where this part ended? Do you feel like you don't know where it's going at all? Like you kind of have some ideas, but you don't really know where it's going.
Some things would make sense, but I don't really know what they're going to do. Or like, they haven't built towards anything, really. Like, I think we'll get a Clegane Bowl at some point because we've built towards that. But outside of that, like, I thought we were building towards some natural conclusions for last week's episode that didn't happen. I don't know if we're going to drag those out over the next 3 episodes or if we're not going to do them at all. I don't know whether to be excited or go ahead and temper my expectations so I can enjoy the last bit of it by expecting nothing. Like, I don't know how to approach it. Really don't.
Well, I mean, I think all hype is not all hype, but most hype is bad.
All
like,
hype must die.
I think it's okay to always walk in without expectations, or without the same kind of expectations you think might be like, this has to happen before. Like, I don't have any expectations about the Clegane Bowl. I don't have any expectations about any of that. I'm just kind of like, wow, okay, so this is this is the point we're at now. We have 3 episodes. take me on a ride. Let's see where the fuck you take me. Like, I'm not hyped. I'm not excited, but I'm still intrigued. I'm still kind of curious about what the fuck you're gonna do now for 3 more episodes. Like, you destroyed the thing that's been a threat since episode 1. Like, where are we at then? Let's go. Like, what do we do now?
I don't know, man. Like, if you decide to do all of that just to kill off everybody in King's Landing assault, like, I'm gonna be a little. That's gonna be a weird feeling to be like, oh, lame, you died here. Go. But like, important people should have died that episode. Like, pretty much everybody should have died. Nobody should have gotten out of that.
I feel like that's.
I mean, John was surrounded by undead.
That's too much.
It was okay.
I think that's way too like jerking off of the feeling of the original of the first few books of like, well, people could die at any time. It's kind of like, yeah, well, Arya could have died at any fucking time.
No, just statistically, man. Like,
but like, if everyone died,
it's like all of the 5. It's just.
But that's what I'm saying. Would you rather have just everyone dead? Just everyone's dead now, and now the dead march on King's Landing, and then Cersei becomes your protagonist.
It feels to me kind of like killing off one of the twins in Harry Potter because you got 2 of them. Like, yeah, it'll hurt, but you don't really lose the character. And that's what it felt like. It felt like a cop-out. Like, let's take out Ed and Lyanna, who's somebody that we just made up last season and everybody kind of likes. Let's kill her so people, will care. But, like, I don't know. It just feels cheap.
I mean, there were 7 people that died. Theon died.
Theon, yeah. The only one. The only one. Like, and his was somewhat decent, but then also, like, it didn't really matter in the end. Like, he just held him up for an extra 3 seconds so Arya could pop out anyway. I don't know. I don't like that the Whites didn't do anything. Like, it.
But they haven't done anything at all.
And we haven't even. That's my point, though. What was the point of them?
They were there to hold his javelins.
What's the point of any of it?
They were his bitch boys who carried the fucking javelins.
Was it a metaphor for something? Like, is it consumerism? Is it the cold-heartedness of not letting people into your life? What is the point, George? I don't get it. It's been a part of my life for half of my life, and I don't get what the point you were making was.
The point was there was no point.
Well, that's dumb. That's a dumb reason to spend a lot of time writing a book.
I honestly think
that's my point, though. If you're just gonna be like, yeah, no, we're not gonna have any points to be made, then like statistically, nobody important should have survived that. Like, they should have all died. Like, it should just be Cersei on the throne.
I think it does. That's what I'm saying. I think that if people are expecting subversions of this or that, and I feel like there's not much they could have done to satisfy that desire, other than maybe say, like I said, like I was talking about earlier. My entire point was this is the more important thing, but like the point of this is more important than the throne, because this is about saving life. Now we've seen how shitty that life has been, what has been going on, what the betrayals, what this and that has all been. So that's the life you're saving. That's the humanity, the man that you're saving, the age of man you're saving. And now they've saved it, and they have to go back to it, where that, to them, like to Cersei, still the important thing is the throne. She didn't want to go help because, well, they're just going to come take the throne.
I don't think the throne's important anymore. It's
But to her it is. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what they saved. They saved that. They literally saved the Game of Thrones. They preserved the game, and now they have to go back to play it. And to finish that game. And whether or not they win or lose, like, it's not important. And I think maybe that could be the subversion, that it's not important whether or not they win or lose. And if they lose, and they're like, but life went on.
I guess.
Like, it's gonna be weird. I want to know what. That's why I want to know what the next 3 episodes are gonna be. Are they gonna leave it super open ended? Are they gonna have a proper conclusion?
That's my thing. It could go either direction now. Because they did so little with what they just had that I don't know what's next.
But that's
I don't know if they were saving it for something bigger, or if they were just out of ideas and they're wrapping up like the last season of Parks and Rec. I don't know.
I feel like they needed to wrap it up, and my obliviousness of what might happen next makes me excited for it. At least enough to be like, all right, let's step forward. Like, you've definitely left me confused. I'm not sitting there going like, oh, I know what's gonna happen, because I want. I hate it when I walk into certain movies and I'm like, man, I didn't know where that was going, and I cool, but then there are people going like, predictable, lame. Like, how would you predict that? How did you know where exactly where it was gonna go?
I don't know. I've been able to get some stuff before.
I mean, I've guessed some things, but I don't sit there and go, oh, predictable. Like, well, no, you guessed right.
I don't act like I'm a badass because I figured it out. I get excited, like, oh hell yeah, I figured it out. I don't know. Like House on Haunted Hill, I watched that with an ex of mine a long time ago.
Which one, the original one or the one with the Liam Neeson?
Yeah, that one. Was it Liam Neeson in it? Really? Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah, right. That's what. And Catherine Zeta-Jones. House on Haunted Hill, right? Is what you said?
Yeah.
And Owen Wilson.
Yeah. No. Wait.
The 1999 film.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Let's see.
Yeah, it wasn't the movie I'm thinking of.
Jeffrey Rush, Taye Diggs, like Peter Gallagher, Chris Kattan.
Yeah. That one, yeah. You're thinking of something different.
Oh, yes, I am thinking of something different. What am I thinking of?
I know what you're thinking of. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah. Anyway, I guess that movie beat for beat, like 100%. It wasn't even funny. Like, I had a great time with it. It was fun to watch, but you can do that, I guess.
The Haunting.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of, The Haunting.
Let's say, because I know what you're talking about, but that's different.
Six strangers, the chance to make $1 million each. All they have to do is make it through the night alive. House on Haunted Hill. But I'm thinking of The Haunting, which had Liam Neeson, Owen Wilson, Lily Taylor, Bruce Dern. Yep, there's that. Yep. Okay, so you said House on Haunted Hill, and I thought of a completely different fucking movie, wildly different. My bad. That was not my intention. But okay, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm curious. I'm super curious.
Yeah.
How could you not?
See. I mean, I just want to know what to expect. Like, I don't know. I had a really good time watching that episode.
Except for the fact that you couldn't see anything?
Except for the fact I couldn't see anything. I mean, I've got a pretty good setup, so we writing us up, so we could see okay. Like, we weren't as bad off as some people. But, like, by the end of it, like, once it ended, I just realized, like, okay, I'm not super stoked about how any of that went. I just was very anxious to watch it because I needed to see what happened. I guess I won't really be able to judge how I feel about it until I know. So,
I don't know. I've been rewatching it, and it's better to binge. Well, not better to binge, but like it feels good to binge. Like it's a bingeable show. Like I know most shows that are week to week don't tend to be, but this one definitely feels good binging it. Because then you're kind of like, all right, this is where this is going now. All right, like.
Yeah, I don't like having to wait. But I don't want to get spoiled either.
Oh, so official spoiler, a spoiler ban lifted for Endgame on Monday, according to the Russos. And I respect that. I respect that it's been pretty strict online, except for Facebook, but like online as far as like Reddits, subreddits, they all kind of, you spoiler tag the shit out of this. Like you do whatever you have to do.
Yeah, I didn't have anything spoiled for me, which was great. I usually have at least something minor spoiled.
I had one thing spoiled for me, but it was one of the things that I expected anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Which was what was it? No, the Red Skull breakdancing scene. Anyway, we'll catch.
Yeah.
We'll be
That
back.
one caught me way off guard.
We'll be back next week. If you guys listening to this on the audio or watching on YouTube, you guys already know what the next Game of Thrones is going to be. You guys have already seen it, so you're listening to us in our stupidity, going like, "The fuck's happening next?" And you're like, "These guys have no idea."
Yeah. Y'all like these stupid fuckers just didn't know.
They didn't know. They didn't know. Like where the like, oh man, if only they knew Danny's dragon was gonna like 17,000 eggs, and then like
they're gonna crowd around Arya to be like, "Oh my god, you did it!" And then it's off. You're like, "Oh fuck, yeah, that's it."
All right, we'll catch you next time. Phot had to leave early, and that's why he just disappeared on us once again. So we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye.